Hello, this is Malorian, this is the Orc Tactical Team, and what we're going to be talking about today is a whole idea of the fox versus the hedgehog. This is an old Greek analogy and really boils down to the fox has many ideas, whereas the hedgehog has one big idea. And to try and give a good example of this is that many people kind of see me as the hedgehog, where I just say, hordes are better, bigger is better, go big, 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 and that's all I think about. I blind out everything else, and I'm just going to go horde, and I'm going to go crazy. Now, you might agree or disagree with that. I know I don't completely agree with it, but the whole idea there is you can have a person that just looks at one big thing and says, this is it, this is the way to go, charge on. And, of course, if you have something where that is the right idea, well then fantastic, that person's going to do very well. As opposed to on the other side, you might have the fox. The fox is supposed to be cunning, the fox is supposed to be always thinking and having many different ideas. He's, well, I can try this, I can try this, I can try that. It's not like the hedgehog where his big thing is just curl up into a ball whenever you have any sort of situation. The fox is going to find some different ways, depending on what the situation is, and take from his whole bag of possibilities the perfect one for that situation. And then of course with that, every single time the situation comes up, looking at all those possibilities to decide which is the best one. And what this really comes down to when it comes to Warhammer is the whole idea is that your mind can go and try and take an idea and turn it into a certainty. And once you do that, we had talked in the last one about the rational side of your brain and the emotional side of your brain. And really what it is something you've taken, self-decided is certain, and then all of a sudden what they'll do is trigger your emotional every time you see this and basically backtrack to use the rational to try and reprove it in your mind. So let's say if I go into a situation and I say, Savage Orc War Boss, it's all about being aggressive, you gotta take the aggressive guy, I'm gonna do that every single time. And so if somebody asks me, well, what type of War Boss do you take? Oh, you take a Savage because he has more attacks and the more aggressive you are, the better. Automatic. And it's kind of, you have the idea first and then you kind of explain it after. And what you should really be doing then with this in mind is that whenever you're asked a question or you're thinking about something in Warhammer and you just jump to an answer, right? If somebody asks you, what's the best unit in your army? What's the best banner you should be taking? How should you be equipping this? And you say, oh, well, it's this. It's just this. Well, you could be right, just like the hedgehog. That could be your big idea and you could be right. However, you have to be careful that you might be tricking yourself and biasing yourself where you might have taken something that's not as good, and because you're not looking at all possibilities, there might be something that's actually better. A good example of this came up is that one of the things that I always go with is I love, as you probably know, all-out offense. And one of my favorite builds is a Savage Orc War Boss that has a Sword of Bloodshed, it has the Charm Shield, and it has a Potion of Strength. Just 8 attack, Strength 9, you can't kill me, I'm going to kill you, bam. And basically I was having a conversation on the Warpath, and another 4 member said on there, well, that's not the best one. I can throw on another build that's going to be beating that. I said, throw it down. We'll do the math and I'm going to win because I know this is so aggressive. I'm going to kill whatever you have, even if I need 2 rounds of it. And basically what he countered with is, well, why don't you just take a Savage Orc War Boss that has a sort of +1 attack instead of +3 attacks. Then you can be taking the same Charm Shield and you can also be taking the 4+ Ward. Do out the math and yeah, that one outperforms my Savage Orc War Boss. All of a sudden you kind of backtrack and you say, okay, well, what happened if I was in a Savage Orc unit and I had the shrunken head, then I basically have a 5+ ward anyway, why am I going to pay the points for the 4+? But the point is you have to step away and say, wait a second, I'm trying to backtrack, rationalize something that I've put into my mind as a certainty. Let's step back, see that there are other options, and other times when these are going to be more valid. Let's say if it's a closed list, you might be able to go with that more aggressive version because then they're might not want to attack you because they'll assume that you have such high defense they're going to attack the unit. As opposed to a time where you have an open list, you might want to take that other one that's more certain. I mean, you have that set defense, and if you're ever attacked back, it actually even then outperforms the other war boss if they're actually going and attacking each other. So the main thing I wanted to take away from this is to go back, take a look at your own list, and take a look at the things you take for granted. If you think a unit is the best and that nothing else can fill that role, maybe you look at it, and in some cases that might be certain, right? Like in my list, a big thing I go for is Savage Orc Biggins. The very first thing I ever take is that one. Well, then again, just another thing to look at it. What if I had playing up against a very keen opponent that's going to be there and always trying to redirect it and forcing the overrun? Well, if I'm going into a meta like that, I might want to be taking regular Orc Biggins so that I can control that and I wouldn't have to overrun. Or more to the point, what's your second favorite unit and why are you taking that automatically? Maybe, definitely in that situation, there's probably more times where you have to be giving it more thought and, well, actually in this situation, this would be the second best unit to have. Whereas in this situation, this would be the second best unit to have. And I really have to now, instead of going to tournaments and assuming I'm just going to take this, I need to go back and take a look at what missions are going to have and what type of players I expect to be there. And just stepping away from those things that you were just saying, this is a certainty, I always take this one thing. So there you have it. Try and be a fox, don't try and be a hedgehog. And the main thing is everybody makes mistakes, and don't let pride keep you down with something where there could be something better. So there you have it. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you again next time. Bye.